Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. I'm just having my morning water right now and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm eating today. I know I was gone for a little bit. I was on vacation back in Minnesota with my friends. We went up to my friend's cabin and it was super awesome to just like be out on the water. And then I went to my parents' house, which also they have a house on a lake, so I got in lots of swimming. I got pretty sunburnt, which is funny because I feel like it's sunnier here in Arizona than it is in Minnesota, but we're like on the lake 12 hours a day, so that's why. A lot of you guys were asking me on Instagram like how I stay on track with my eating when I am traveling, and basically like me and my friend, we just went to Whole Foods. I bought a bunch of canned pinto beans, a bag of rice, some pico de gallo. I got avocados, cucumbers, and 2 5-pound bags of potatoes, and basically that's what I ate the whole time. So for breakfast I would make like 3 pounds of baked potatoes. That's what I had for breakfast every day. I had a burrito bowl for lunch, and then I just made like a sushi bowl for dinner. So it was really simple. I just basically made potatoes and rice and added stuff to it. Very simple. And yeah, that's just how I like to keep it when I'm traveling. Like even if I travel to a place, I always get an Airbnb so I can cook my own food, which obviously like we did go out to eat, and I did eat some like more vegan junky stuff, but 90% of my meals were what I eat at home, so that's just the way that it makes me feel best. But this morning I'm going to make some pancakes because I've really been craving them and I have everything to make them, so I'm going to show you guys how to make those, and I'm hungry, so let's start doing that right now. Okay guys, so for these videos I think I'm gonna start doing where I am just talking to you guys and not doing a voiceover, because then I can explain things better. So to make these pancakes, it's super simple. We're going to use 1.5 cups of rolled oats. Just put that in our blender. Don't mind my cat, he's just doing his thing. And then we are going to need 2 bananas. So these were frozen, and we also need 1/2 cup of water for this recipe. So what I did was I just put a 1/2 cup of boiling hot water over these bananas to just like defrost them a little bit. So we're gonna need 2 bananas chopped up and 1/2 cup of water. So what makes these super fluffy is we're going to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and these are like the fluffiest, best vegan pancakes. I mean, if you guys have ever tried them, let me know your review down in the comments box, because this is probably like the most popular recipe I have. Then we're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I don't really get out a new teaspoon thing, I just kind of wing it. You can also leave the salt out if you're just like SOS free. And then we're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. So you can also add cinnamon into this. You could add like cocoa powder if you want chocolate flavored ones. You could also add like PB2 or whatever into here. Just kind of, you know, if you want like peanut butter or chocolate flavored pancakes, just know that you can add that into here. If you're gonna add like blueberries or something, I would blend it first and then add the blueberries into the batter afterwards. So we're just gonna blend this really quick. I'm just going to get my little griddle pan thing out. I really need to buy a new one of these. This thing is like totally broken. But I swear, this is like the best nonstick griddle. I'll try to put it here so you guys can see better. So I'm just going to let the pancakes sit while this warms up, and I'm just gonna turn it on like medium heat for both sides. I really like this thing because there's a griddle side and then there's this flat side, but I also have waffle sheets or pans also that can go in here. So like you could use the same exact recipe and make waffles. So now we're just going to pour this slowly onto here. As you can see, it's like gotten pretty thick. And just depending on what size you want your pancakes. And then we're going to basically let these just kind of fluff up for about 2 minutes. I'll show you a trick on how to know when they're ready to flip. So this is like the hardest part, figuring out when to flip these things. But you'll know when you can basically slide your spatula under and you don't like get this on here. So it should be cooked enough on the edges to be able to like slide your spatula under and flip it. If this happens, make sure that you wipe this off, because or else it's just gonna continually stick to the pancakes. All right, so these are ready. You just wanna go through one side and then go under the other side. Just to like totally unstick it and then just flip it over. Woo. All right, so we'll cook these for about 2 minutes and then we just have a little bit more. This makes about 5 to 6, depending on the size that you make the pancakes. So just let these cook and then we're all done. Alright, so it's lunchtime. I actually just ran to the store because I had to get some stuff for videos. I had to run to the store though because my cat keeps eating my headphones, and I swear I have gone through like 30 pairs of headphones, you guys. If anyone has a solution for that, let me know because it is very annoying. I buy 2 pairs of headphones at a time because it's just like if I leave them out and I forget to put them away, they're totally chewed up by my cat. But anyway, I just got a little tiny grocery haul here. So I needed to stock up on some potatoes for fries. And then I really have been loving getting different berries. This is the perpetrator here, the headphone eater. I really love getting just like different kinds of berries, and I'll show you guys this because I'm gonna have it, I have it pretty much every day for like a snack. And I just chop them up and then I put a tiny bit of like maple syrup or coconut sugar on them and some soy milk, and it is so good. And then yeah, I just got some avocados. Another thing I do is I keep my potatoes in, sorry, my fridge is horrendous. Just ignore that. I keep my potatoes in this little crisper in my fridge because I think organic potatoes, they just like sprout so easily. So if I keep them in here, they will last for like a month, more than a month. And they do start to get like kind of soft over time. These are brand new, obviously, but it just helps. I mean, obviously I go through potatoes like very quickly, but if I leave them out even for 5 or 6 days, like they will start to sprout. So I just put them in here and they will last for about a month in here. So if your potatoes are sprouting prematurely, put them in. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing. Oh my god. Okay, we're getting out of here. Alright, so for lunch, I have a little bit of hash browns left to use up. So I'm gonna make my cheesy potato broccoli bake. And I'll leave the recipe down below for you guys. But I also just have some cheese sauce left to use, so that's why I'm making this. One tip is I highly recommend like making a big batch of this cheese sauce at the beginning of every week. And it's just like such a good thing to put on hash browns or put it on top of potatoes, put it on rice, put it on burrito bowls. Like I use it so much, so highly recommend making this, and I'll leave the recipe down below for you guys. So to make this super simple on myself, I'm gonna use all this broccoli. It's like whatever's left in here. I'm just gonna dump this in here. And then I'm just gonna take my kitchen shears and chop this up. I feel like this cooks a lot better if you chop up the broccoli in little small pieces. Like I would say a piece like that size is kind of like ideal. All right, so I have all this chopped up. I'm just gonna add in my cheese sauce, and then I'm just gonna add in my hash browns. So what I did was I baked it with tinfoil over it for 40 minutes, and then I just dumped the rest of the cheese sauce that I had on top, and then I broiled it for 15 minutes. And yeah, this is what I'm gonna have for lunch. Alright, Derek and I have been densifying our floor all day, which basically just means like hardening the concrete. We had to put this stuff on it. Anyways, I'm gonna make dinner. I was gonna just eat pea soup, but I actually want to show you guys how to make sushi. So I'm gonna do avocado cucumber sushi, and I'll show you guys like a step-by-step how to make it. Also, let me know if you guys like when I have the overhead camera and I'm just like sitting there talking to you and explaining things versus just doing a voiceover. Okay guys, so for this sushi recipe, we're gonna need rice, and I always weigh my rice out because I've made sushi so many times and I feel like 150 grams of rice is like the perfect amount to put inside of the roll to make it like the best size, to make it just like, you know, a good size sushi roll and not like something that's like huge or not something that's like tiny. And I don't weigh out my food ever. I just do this for sushi rolls because if I don't do this, like I will make too much rice and then I'll have these sushi rolls that are just like busting apart. And then the next thing we're gonna add is just a little bit of rice vinegar. So I like to use the seasoned one, and I just add in like a tiny bit. Woo. So that was probably like a tablespoon of this for 2 sushi rolls. And you want to do this first because you want your rice to just like cool down a little bit. So I just got this out of my rice cooker, and this is actually just jasmine rice. You don't have to use sushi rice. If you're using brown rice, I would highly recommend using like a short grain brown rice. But yeah, this is just jasmine rice. So we're just gonna mix it up, and then we are going to just set this aside for a second so it can cool off, because if you put the rice on the sushi when it's super hot, it will always like rip the sushi and it's no bueno. Alright, so the next thing is we're going to need some nori. This is my favorite nori in the world. You guys ask me about this all the time. It is just a nori I get off Amazon. It's so much better because you get 50 sheets. It's also organic, and I feel like this is the least fishy nori that I've ever found. So I'll link this below for you guys. It's just by One Organic. I've never seen it anywhere else except for on Amazon. But I like that it comes in sheets of 50 because I think in the stores it's only like sheets of 10, and that ain't gonna last very long. And then you're just going to want a small bowl of water to dip your hands in. And inside my sushi roll, I have all this cucumber that I julienned, and then I have a quarter of an avocado. So I just used to julienne the cucumbers a peeler. This is, I'll link this as well. So it has like a slicing side and a julienne side, and if you just like julienne your cucumber, I just take the whole cucumber and do the whole thing. I eat sushi so much that like I just put the cucumber once I've julienned it in a container and I keep it in my fridge. But I'll link this below as well. It's probably my favorite little slicer thing. So what we're gonna do is take half of our rice and just put it onto the nori. And then you just want to wet your hands a little bit. Make sure your hands are clean. And we're just gonna spread this out over like half of it. You just wanna leave a little bit on top. So I never get super crazy about trying to make this perfect. And then we're just gonna put our cucumber and avocado in here. So one of the reasons that I use less rice is because I like to put a ton of veggies in here. And when I use 150 grams of rice, I'm trying to get this so you can see it better. When I use 150 grams of rice, I can really shove in a ton of cucumber. So that's why I do that. If I use more rice, obviously I just don't have as much room for veggies. So I just like to eat it full of veggies. And then we're just gonna take some water and wet the very end right there. And you don't need a roller or anything like that. Just roll this over and then just try and roll it as tight as you can. But it doesn't have to be perfect. And there we go. So I'm just gonna set this to the side while we do the other one, because you wanna just let them sit for a little bit. And you can use so many different like things in sushi rolls. You could put some marinated tofu in here, marinated mushrooms. You could put julienne carrots, sweet potato. What else do we put in there? Just like any kind, like people like to put sprouts in here a lot of the time, or mango is really good as well. All right, so I'll just show you guys kind of how to cut these like the best way. The biggest trick here is to wet your knife. So you want to just wet your knife under the sink, Alright, so I just like to cut them in half. You probably need to wet your knife a few times. And then I just cut slices from that half. Then you got perfect little sushi rolls. So I really like to eat my sushi with wasabi. This is just like an authentic Japanese wasabi that I got at Whole Foods. And then I always like to also eat it with sushi ginger. And then for dipping sauce, I always just mix together coconut aminos and a tiny bit of tamari, because I feel like tamari on its own is just like too strong. And then if you want to get really fancy with this, you can put some sesame seeds on top. And that is it, guys. So this is what I'm having for dinner. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you like these little talk throughs in the comments box below. And I'm gonna go eat my dinner. I'll see you guys on the next video.